in acting, right? And they say number one on the call sheet. That's the most important person, actor, if you will, on that set. And they set the tone for everything on the show and the movie. I feel like you're that person pretty much at every single promotion that you ever step foot in. That couldn't have always been the case, though. What do you
No.
remember? Like, do you remember like that first time where you felt it?
Oh, that's the amazing part about all this is every promotion that I'm on top of, I had to scratch and claw to get there. I never came in and just was shot to the top. That never once happened. That didn't happen at BCW, didn't happen at Pro Wrestling Magic, didn't happen at Warriors of Wrestling, didn't happen at any of these places that you've seen me at. I've never been hot shotted. I always had to come up from the bottom. Warriors of Wrestling, when I came there in 2014, I had to come up through the studio tapings. They were filming tapings at their training center. That's how I got onto the show. So I worked my way up 2015, 2016, 2017. Now I'm a four-time champion. Now I'm their number one person because I've been there since 2014. I've seen them all come and go. You know, I've built that equity there. BCW, been there since 2015, you know, towards the end of that year when we were at the Queen's Elks Lodge. We remember those days. That's the original pre-combination wrestling days. I was there 16, 17, 18, never any time off. So I've seen these people come and go. Joe Gacy, Mike Orlando, seen these champions come and go and stood the test of time. I never was thrust immediately to the final spot. And that's the thing I always want people to learn from all this. Is just like, and remember that. Like when you see me on top of all these places, don't think I'm walking in and being handed things. I came in, I changed the culture. I made myself the number one person. I made myself the most reliable person at 5, 6 different promotions at the same time. Easily. That's how I was holding all those titles going into the Super 8. 5 championships I held going into the Super 8 and then won the Super 8. That's historic. That's monumental on an unprecedented scale. And I will discuss it because it needs to be said and it needs to be heard and it needs to be remembered.
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, like your resume, it's hard for anyone else to compare their resume to yours. I mean, I think you have a resume that a lot of wrestlers would die for, and it's cool because yeah, I think for those that don't know or for those that are new to the business, I mean, like they see you as a GOAT. You know, like that's all they know you as being great. But like, of course, yeah, no one starts off that way. Like, do you remember like that moment where like that everything kind of shifted for you though? I mean, what was that exact moment in that feeling?
I think there are checkpoint moments, I like to call them, in your career, moments and matches where you realize, okay, I've ascended to another level. I just hit another plane here. Um, I mean, 2013 was definitely one of those years where that was where the formation of the Crusade for Change came into my mind, where I really started seeing the business differently. At that point, I was in the business for maybe about 5 years or so, but I was traveling and doing those long hours and those long rides, and I was seeing a lot. I was being exposed to a lot early. Because again, at places like Beyond Wrestling, I was 2 years in and wrestling some of the best wrestlers in the world world traveled wrestlers that had been in the game 10 plus years. I was wrestling those people, traveling to Ohio, 13, 14 hours out to wrestle in a garage against elite upper crust talent. And that's what made me good early. That's what the lessons I learned there, I was able to manifest over time. And then when you mix that with experience, it puts you on another level. And to me, I feel like there's just different points in your career where you hit that. 2013 was definitely one of them where I said, all right, it's time to get going. It's time. My matches just were flowing better. The, I always had the crowd connection, but there was even more hate. It was just, you could just feel that things were heating up. And then that's when I started breaking into New York a little bit in 2014, the New York scene, because I was wrestling out in PA for my first few years. You know, every town in PA, you name it, I wrestled there. So that's when you get into New York 2014, and then 2015, and then 2016 with the Crusade again. Major, major year for me. And then from there, I just feel like it was just, you've been hearing about me since. It's been like 6, 7 years of just Darius Carter working his way up or at the top of the New York, New Jersey, the tri-state scene, up and down the coast. I mean, everybody knows Darius Carter. You can act like you don't. You can pretend like you don't. You can try and write it off or dismiss me or whisper about me, but you know about Darius Carter. Let's not pretend.
Was there like a particular wrestler or a match that you had that helped mold like who Darius Carter is today?
I mean, it's a lot of them. I mean, one match I always jump to was me and Timothy Thatcher that I had, and that was back 2015. Um, that match, I went into there with pride in my technical ability and thinking I can go in and really not not beat anybody, not coming with like that per se, but like you really think you can go in there and you can maneuver your way around somebody. You size somebody up. I looked at someone like Tim Thatcher. He had long limbs, thick guy, and I was like, all right, I can get in there. I can get in. I have technique that he doesn't know about because he's not familiar with me. So, or not as familiar with me. So I can take advantage of that. The combination of him not knowing and my ability, I figured I can knock him off his heel. And that match really taught me like that there are people that are just on a different plane, and you never, there's never a peak. You can only get better. And I realized that day I can be so much better than I am, and that's something I take with me every day. Um, Powder Keg was that the name of that event, Beyond Wrestling. Um, I mean, just pushed my mind, pushed me physically. A chess match in every single form, the type of match I love to have. So much growth in that match. That's just one of several, but that comes to mind when you ask that question immediately.
That's amazing. So, I think any aspiring wrestler or a current new wrestler that would listen to this would want to know the answer to this question. What if they want to be on your level? Like, what does it take to get to that point? What does it take to be the next Darius Carter? And do you see anyone out there that could, you know, fill those shoes?
Hey, there can never be a next because I'm not stepping off the plate, you know? Uh, it's just commitment. It takes commitment. Every second, every hour of every day, I'm always posting or tweeting or putting something out just to keep that bloodline going. Not to use that, I guess that term, but to keep that, to keep that lifeline going and keep the energy and let people know you're there and let people know you're real and let people know you're present. You're not just there Saturday nights. You're not just there Sunday nights for an event. Darius Carter is present in real time. He is real life. And that adds, I think, so much to people's connection to Darius Carter is how real I am and how much emotion I can evoke from someone because people, not that people know someone like Darius Carter, but they've dreaded a person like a Darius Carter. And it's just very real to them. And it's very powerful and uh, it's very focused, very firm, very, very willful. Um, and that's what this is all about. I think when you ask what can people do to get to the next level or to be unforgettable or to be appear uh, is to connect
Hmm.
and commit. Listen when you do something, listen because people are telling you how they feel about something when they boo, when they cheer, they're evoking their thought. And that's something you can utilize. That's something you can manipulate. I love that. That's my favorite.
Oh, dude,
It's
I see it in your face in your matches. Like you just feed off that crowd. It doesn't matter how many people are there or not there. Like you just feed off of all of that, and you apply it so damn well.
Thank you. Yeah, it's that energy, and it's the price of admission. I always tell you, you're getting the price of admission. Just for your $20 or $25, whatever it is, just to get Darius Carter alone. Like, come on, let's be honest. You're getting the show in one human being. Let alone everyone else. You know, come on.
No, it's the complete package because like you what you bring into the ring is absolutely incredible. You're not like one of those typical high flyers that people would see, like, but you bring like this ferociousness inside that ring with the mat skills, your technical skills, and just like it's like there's a difference between watching like an indie wrestler and then someone from like the main stage, and you bring like a main stage level to every match that you do.
I appreciate that.
There's a ring psychology to what you do. Like everything that you do is with a purpose, with a meaning. Every word that you say out of your mouth is with a purpose, with a meaning. There's no wasted air. There's no wasted movement. People when they talk about that, they talk about people like Shawn Michaels in that level. And that's what I see with you whenever I see you do your thing in the ring.
That's a grandiose compliment. I appreciate that. That's what it's about. It's about, again, connecting and committing, and again, experience. And I've talked about that in locker rooms. That's the best thing that I've gotten over the years is experience. The ability to put everything together and to see things from an external point of view. Like I can see things from outside of myself. I can look at Darius Carter outside of myself. And that is really only achievable through experience. Because when you're young, your head's so caught in it. There's so much being thrown at you in the business. You can't wrap it up. The most basic information and advice that you're getting, you can't register it because there's so much going on when you're entering the business. You're trying to learn. You're doing resumes. You're trying to figure out how to get paid properly. You're trying to figure out where to go. It's tough. And experience puts that all together. And then you're able to it becomes easy for you. It becomes clockwork in a great way. Not in a commonplace like, oh man, I'm punching in, punching out. If that's how you're doing it, then you're doing it entirely wrong.
Right.
But it's like clockwork. It's like I know what I need to do, where I need to be, and what I'm gonna get out of those hours there. So
it's a business though, because like
yeah.
and you approach it as such. Like there are many wrestlers, and we've had countless conversations about this, about like with what we both do. Like there's people that approach it as an art, which is great, and then there's people that approach it as an art, but also as a business.
Right.
And you see the difference between those two, and you approach this so much like you respect the art, obviously, of it, but you have such a business sense to it, and I think that separates you from a lot of people. Just talking about what you did before with social media, the importance of that, of like being present, bring your brand out there along with the promotions that you're working at, along with the opponents that you're facing. There's a lot to that. Touching on that, by the way, this is a good segue here. You talk a lot at social media. Yeah, that's a very valuable tool for you. And you've been talking a lot about one particular person at BCW, the world heavyweight champion, Marina Shafir. Shifting gears here.
You're saying I'm talking a lot. You're suggestive. So
no, but like
let's get into
let's get into it. Let's get into it because you do make some very good points. You made some great points at BCW's Queen of the North 4 opening the show. Like I like Marina Shafir, and you've said so yourself as well as a person, like, but the point that you make that like no one can debate, and not even Marina, is that she hasn't defended the title in 6 months, going on 7 now. So like you brought up a curtain call with Jimmy J, and I want to quote you on this. He said, "We will have an answer, or else." What does that mean exactly?
I knew you
What
were
does
gonna
it
come for
mean?
it. I knew you were gonna come for it. I knew you were gonna go straight. You tried to shoot as straight an arrow as you could shoot, straight to the question there, which I do
I have to
commend.
ask.
I commended how you got there. I commended how you built it up a little bit, but then you shot straight in. Oh, true wrestlers appreciate a great shoot. All right, a great shooting. Um, Listen, I've been talking more about Marina than Marina's been talking about the company.
Facts.
And my issue is that championship and my match with her in particular is what helped elevate her. Now, she's already wrestled for the WWE. We already know this. She was part of the Four Horsewomen with Shayna and with Jessamine. We already know this, okay? But that match that I had with her, how heavily discussed it was, how heavily viewed it's been. One of my favorite matches, and I know it's one
Oh
of,
wow.
if not her favorite match, period. My point that I had made was that that's the best match that she has had in her career. Not since that point has she been able to top that match. And the thing is, it's because she's facing people that she's steamrolling. She's running roughshod in AEW. She's beating these girls quickly, almost effortlessly. And it's like, okay, but here's a dead-on challenge right in front of your face, and you can't seem to meet that person. You can't seem to meet Darius Carter, but you can go down there and throw a girl around for 2.5 minutes. I just find that perplexing. And I like Marina. I think Marina is an enjoyable person. I think she's the exact type of wrestler that I like getting in there with. She's a test every single time you wrestle her. She's that good. She's much better than people give her credit for.
Oh,
Much
so
better,
much.
much better than the reputation that is that is bestowed upon her, that is thrust upon her. And I know that position because I myself have been in that place and will probably be in that place for the rest of my career. I'll probably be someone who was never regarded as good as they are. Even if I reached a Hall of Fame status, I still feel like there's always going to be that level of I still am not generally viewed as good as I was, and that's fine because that's something to pursue. That's something to keep you hungry and keep you chasing. Not that I need that to stay hungry because I'm hungry no matter what. I don't need food on the table to be hungry. You know what I mean? Like that's not. I've never been one of those people that's questioned or run out of fuel or run out of gas. I've never once said to myself, I can't be a wrestler. I never once said to myself, I can't do this. I've never had that mental struggle. I know that makes up a lot of wrestlers' stories. That's their thing. That's their character is, oh man, I almost quit, but I don't, or I'm going to retire and then come back. I've never once questioned it. It's never been a thought in my mind.
You're a
Um,
different breed.
just a different. I mean, I'm not saying that myself, but it is what it is. I'm just different. I just am just born different, and that's wrestling. I know what I'm going to do in this business. I know what I'm going to achieve. I know what I can achieve because I see it happening in real time. I'm not sitting with these promoters and asking to be put on top. I'm not sitting there with Anthony Cole and talking to him for hours at night to be your top person. I show up, I do my job the best, and that's why I get to be the best everywhere I am. And that's why people are afraid to have me in their locker room because they know I'm going to come up and be the top guy of their promotion too. And that hurts feelings. You know, when you've been the guy at your place for 10 years or 12 years or whatever, and then I come in and I and I take everything, you know, that's it's the way that it is. And even then, I don't shoot to the top. Even if I come in, I'm going to have to wrestle my way through the entire roster. But even that's intimidating to people. Even because now I got to get through everybody. I'm intimidating every single person on the roster of a promotion I debut at because chances are I'm going to have to face them. And then, I'm gonna lose my place now. Come on. I've never understood that. If you're great, you don't have to worry about losing your place. If I'm not the champion, look at Marine. I'm not the champion. Marina's the champion. Did I
Right.
lose my place? Have I
No.
lost anything at all? Come on, stop it. I'm still the franchise. I'm still the feature player. I'm still the top person. Marina's number 2. She's just holding the title. This is what it is.
You're still a pillar at BCW for sure.
I'm the pillar. I'm not a pillar. Don't be, don't be, don't be.
Okay, okay.
Come on, come on, come on. Let's be honest. Don't be coy. Let's listen.
I don't want to throw any disrespect in any champions, way right there. But like, I mean, yeah, there is an argument to be made that you are the pillar for BCW. You've been the constant. You've always been in the for seemingly you've always been in the top spot. Like even like when I got into BCW a little bit later on, but even at that point, I don't think you were champion quite yet. You may have won it my first time there, if not the second time there, but like you were still like the top spot.
I won it November of 2018. So
Yeah, I think it was probably my first show. Yeah, that was my first BCW show.
that
So
was
there we
that
go.
was the wedding. That was the wedding. That was the where the two fans got married. And
Right.
I remember because I used a few of the flowers, the roses, to to stab Asriel. So that was great. Uh, yeah, it was a rose.
Everything's a weapon in wrestling.
I trapped him in it as well. I trapped him in the vines and stomped him. That was a great time. Listen, the ring is a weapon. The ring is my best friend, a great ally for me. Uh, I love the ring, and the ring loves me.
But
So
you excel, especially on the outside of the ring, for sure. Like that's where the damage gets done. We've seen that time and time again. But like you are a dangerous man. That's a
the most
fact.
dangerous man on earth.
Right. Right. So when you use the words or else regarding Marina Shafir, circling back to that, because you said a lot of things, but you didn't quite answer that question. What does that mean, Darius?
I mean, that means that I'm going to reach that resolution. I've been pursuing the BCW World Heavyweight Championship, and I will have in my possession the BCW World Heavyweight Championship. That's what that means. I can't tell you how. I can't tell you.
Do you have a plan, or is this just like you're
Oh, what do
like a
you think? What do you
manifestation?
think? You think I'm just talking?
My man, there it is.
I'm asking you. It's been 6 months. It was almost 6 months to the day. July 30th was the last time she was there. January 29th was Queen of the North 4. When I stood in that ring and I called her out, I said 6 months nearly to the day. I've been counting them. I'm sure she doesn't even remember the last date. She remembers who she faced. She doesn't remember what day it was. This is the difference. She has had one match with Brandon Kirk. That is it. She comes back. She knows that I'm waiting. I beat her. That shatters the mystique. That's a loss that's hard for her to take right now. That's where the belt gets mailed. That's where someone comes and picks up the title. Now it's vacated. Look, I want her to show up. I would love, I really do. I don't know what people think. Oh, he's the bad guy. He's the coward. I've been calling her out. Did people not? People saw that match. No one did that to her the way that I did to her. No one treated her in the ring the way that I treated her that day. Not then, not since, not before that.
You may
I
have lost, but like
handled her.
you took it all the way to her for sure.
She won off of an excellent counter in an inescapable submission. There was nobody on this earth, and I said it before and I said it again. At that point in time, there was nobody anywhere on earth that could have gotten out of that submission hold. And that's fine, but that's a one-time thing. That will never, ever happen again. And I got to be honest with you, as I always am, I think she knows that. She knows that. She knows she's not getting that move on me again.
If she does, so I take it you probably have a counter on her way out now,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. I mean, I've in of it, out of it. I've had the maneuver rewound, fast forwarded, stop. Trust me, believe me. That maneuver, that position I was in, I will never be in again.
Hmm.
And Marina, it's just time. The sand in the hourglass is just the last grain is fallen. It's been a great ride. We've enjoyed it. You're a lovely person. You're welcome to come back. And if you do, we can give you that rematch. I will put my championship up against you. This can be an exclusive here. I'll put the title up against you whenever you want because I know I'm better than you. I know I'll beat you at any time, any place. So that's the game. But it's time for that title to leave you. It's time for you and the championship to depart. So I know how to get in between you and that title. I know how to make that happen, and it's going to happen. Hopefully, um, hopefully this measure doesn't have to be met. Hopefully, the resolution can be made behind closed doors professionally uh, with Mr. Anthony Cole, with anybody else in the BCW office that needs to be involved. But there will be actions taken. Um, so there needs to be an answer, and that's all I'm going to say. And again, that answer can be public, that answer can be private, but Marina, it's time, and we will be hearing back, and there will be a change, and that's all there is to it. That's all I can say.